Okay, guys, let me hope you're following. If you've not understood, you can ask. We don't want to leave anyone behind. You can ask. Okay, let's proceed. This is where we've skipped. Hold on. There's something I want to see, something I'm not seeing. Is it because I've ever traded this coin? Okay, let's proceed. So when you get here, there's a page they're not giving me where you click next. I don't know if it has been removed, but I'm not getting it on my board. Where they say choose a circle, then where they say create your own strategy, more flexibility. I think you always see that. So we simply choose the next that is down, but I'm not seeing it. I don't know if the app was updated and was removed, but I'm not seeing it on my board. Okay, then after you click trade setting. So if you click trade setting, then this is where we do everything. Everything. We've got the smart create and the manually create. So, and you understand this page, that means you're good to go. You're good to go. So let's concentrate on the manually create because we are going to set our strategy manually. So I don't know which capital I should use if I'm to trade. If I'm to trade 1,000 sats. Even if you have small capital, for me, I'll set for you margin calls no matter what you earn. Even if you earn it consistently, even if it is small, it will give you a clear picture that your capital is lacking, but the strategy is working. Okay. So guys, you try to list your sum of your capital. I choose from your capital. Someone says 500. Yes, and you are going slowly. Okay. The page is visible either when it's your first time to trade that very coin. Yeah, I think that's it. For me, I've always been trading. But if ever traded, it's always visible. But no, I've gone back and have chosen another coin that I've never traded, but I wasn't given that. Let me try again. Let's see. Now, okay, let me choose 1 million baby Doge. Let's see. You see, they're not giving me the page. They're just taking me straight. So I've never traded these coins. So it has been there, but I don't know. Maybe it is my board. But if you can see it, at least you can be able to tell. Okay, let's proceed. Guys, you can list your capital in the chat. I choose what to use because now I'm very sorry. I don't want to say this, but how did you come to pick 1,000 sats? Because I know I have monitored it. Like we've done some analysis. Like if you see any coin being talked about, that means a very good coin. So you can go and look at it. Before you proceed with the coin, before you choose it, I said, did you attend yesterday's Zoom? If you see any coin, at least let's consider the top 200 coins on CoinMarketCap. We looked at that. First, go and look at it at CoinMarketCap. If you're new, for me, I would recommend you to trade the top 200 coins. If you're old, it's up to you because you know what to do. If you make the mistakes, you make the mistakes you yourself, and you have no one to blame. Okay. You've got 500, 500, 200, 500, 100. I'll have to come up with the average. Even mine page is unavailable. I think it was, I don't know, but we shall see. 2,000. Okay. What I'm going to do, it is going to It is going to help everyone to set your bot. What I'm going to do is going to help you set your bot your way. Okay? It's not all about like I'm giving you this strategy. You're supposed to to use this strategy or maybe the other strategy. I'm not going to call my strategy name. No, I'm just going to make you understand these settings, like you understand them and what they mean. Okay, not just putting figures and you don't understand them. Let's first dive into the settings. Okay, we are going to use let's use 200. Let's use $200. Okay, people with $50, 100, please try as much as possible to increase your capital at least to $300 to $500 to earn some good profits that can help you compound. We are going to look at compounding as well. So we've got what we call my template. Choose a setting strategy. When you go back to your homepage and click on mine, you're going to find what we call my strategy setting. Let's get there. I don't want to. So my strategy setting is where you keep your strategies. Click on mine. Then if you click on mine, then click on my strategy setting. So this is where you find your strategies, your saved strategies. So you have to click there and you add another strategy. So when you add another strategy, let's use this side there. Okay, let me delete this. So you don't have any strategy there. So I'm going to click add it now. So I'm going to be given this page, the same page, and we are going to see how it works. Okay. Now, if I'm using $200, let's first dive into the settings. We have the risk type, leave it on steady. It should always be steady. Don't change it to other, like we've got the conservative, where it is going to be conservative, or maybe radical. So let it be steady. The strategy has to always be steady. Also, the risk. Okay. Now, the remark, that's optional. They've even put optional, so you don't need any remark. Um, then first buying amount. First buying amount is that money you expose first in that particular coin. So if I was trading like 1,000 sats and I have $200, so this is how I'm going to set my strategy. This is according to me. I use 10 as my first buying amount. I'm going to put the figure and why do I put 10 as my first buying amount? According to me, 10 is very easy to calculate. Okay. It's like now you have 10 like that, any number that ends with a zero, it is very easy to calculate with. This is like 10 times 2, you get 20. Okay. Now it's like 4 times 5, you get 20, but it is like, if your mathematics is solo, like it is going to confuse you. But if it is 10 just times 2, it is going to be very easy to get 20. Like it is going to be a very easy calculation. It makes it very easy. That's why I normally use 10 as my first buying amount. If your capital is lower, you can use 5. It's lower than like 100 or 50, you can use 5 as your first buying amount. Okay, then you have the opposition doubled. This enables everything to be doubled of your strategy. So we don't enable that. It should be off. Then the AI margin call, this slows down the buying because the AI margin call itself, whenever you enable it, you're telling your robot to buy anytime, every time it detects any rapid movement. So if it detects any rapid movement, the bot is going to buy. But if it doesn't detect any rapid movement, it is not going to buy. It is going to slow down the buying. That means there are coins that move down, they move deep, they move down, but not rapidly, but they keep moving down. So that means if there's no any detection of rapid movement, we shall see this coin, we shall see the robot not buying. So we switch off the AI margin call. Okay. Now, if I'm trading with 200, I'd recommend you to use at least 15 margin calls or 12 margin calls. So for me, I'm going to use 15 margin calls because I know it's just like backup. I know this market is not friendly. I'll use 15 margin calls. Okay. Now the whole position take profit ratio, we've got 1.3. So this is the percentage we take out of the market. According to the strategy we are going to set of the sub positions, it only works for the first four margin calls. The first four margin calls, we shall look at that. So I like to maintain it as 1.3. Then we have the whole position take profit callback. This is the increase of the percentage, and this is the vice versa of the whole position take profit callback. So this is the decrease. Okay, so this is what it means, that if I'm trading a coin, I give it 1.3, it hits 1.3, then it increases by 0.3, then it decreases by 0.5. What does this mean? It means that it is going to be bought lower. It won't be sold at exactly 1.3. It will increase, then decrease, then it will sell here, then it will be bought here. That means it has been bought somehow deeper. So if you don't put the buy and call back and you put the whole position take profit call back without this, that means it is going to increase, then it will sell here immediately, it is going to buy higher. But this person has put the call back, it is going to buy lower. And if it buys lower, this person has an advantage of taking profits faster than you do, or faster than you will do on the market. Let me hope we've got that. Guys, are we still following? Are we still following as we go through the settings and understanding them? Are we still following? Are we still following? Don't be left behind. Don't be left behind. Okay. I beg your pardon on that. Okay. So our take profit is 1.3. 1.3. Okay. So if the market rises by 1.3, which is this, it is supposed to be sold. But if it is not sold, that means you've got what we call whole position take profit ratio. It is going to increase again by 0.3. So if it increases by 0.3, then it has to decrease by 0.5. So what does this help? Mostly if you're trading on cycle. Like if I put here 0 and here 0, it is going to sell at exactly 1.3. So if this is 1.3, it is going to sell there. But if I put some increment, 0.3, then a decrease, that is the buying, sorry, not this one, the decrease of 0.5, that means it is going to be sold here. It has to come down. It is going to be sold at a lower price. At the same time, it is going to be bought at a lower price. That means everyone who buys at a lower price has an advantage of getting out of the market quicker than that person whose coin was sold at a higher price. It works well when we are using cycle. When we are using cycle. I think I've done that. So where are you getting the 1.3? Those are default settings. When you open it, when you open your Royal Queue, you'll find them there. I haven't changed any setting there. I haven't made some adjustments. If you look so well, I haven't made some adjustments. Okay, unless if you want to repeat the last explanation about the callback. Okay, I've done that. So these are default settings. I have just changed the margin call limit and the use. So if you want to, let me first explain. This is the percentage you take out of the market. This is its increase and this is its decrease. So it's up to you to choose what you want. But according to how I trade, I maintain this. Sometimes I make it 1.3, 1.5. but let me leave it as 1.3. Then if I'm using the callbacks, I like using this one as 1.1, 0.1, and this one 0.2. Because I've explained what these do, so it's up to you to put what you prefer, because now you know what they mean. Because I told you, for me, I teach you these settings to understand them, and you come up with your own strategy. Not to just put figures that you don't understand. I've explained what this is, and what that is. That means now you can be able to use them. So let's first skip this, the margin configuration. We shall look at that because it's where we have to concentrate. Then we've got what we call a distributed and take profit callback. Okay. If you remember so well, I told you if you're going to use subpositions, 1.3 only works. It only works for the first 4 calls. If I've set 15 margin calls, that means the first 4 calls are going to be sold at 1.3. Okay. Now, the distributed and take profit allocation simply shows you the remaining calls from the 6th up to the 15th. They are independent. It's like I'm trading 1,000 sats, but inside the 1,000 sats, I've got small 1,000 sats, what we call sub positions, they're sub coins. So when I click on distributed and take profit allocation, you'll see from the 5th sub position, because I have set 15 margin calls. The first 4 margin calls are sold on whole position take profit. Okay, then the 5th up to the last call are called sub position, and they have got their own take profit, which is 1.3 as default. 1.3. Okay, just like that. Let me hope we've got that. We shall return to that. Okay, now before we proceed with that, let's first look at the margin configuration. This is where we're supposed to do everything. If you understand the margin configuration, that means you're good to go. You're going to make money with Royal Q. So you click on margin configuration. So when you click on margin configuration, this is the page we get. So before we proceed, the margin calls you set, remember we've set 15 margin calls. You have to come and edit them here on margin configuration. So you can see from the first call up to the 15th, as you can see. So these are the margin calls we've set, 15. So if you put 20, of course, you'll find 20 here. So the easiest interpretation of this page is the margin configuration simply means, we first mute. From the 5th call, okay, let's proceed. I said the easiest interpretation of this page is that we've got 2 sections. We've got the margin call drop and the multiple buying ratio. So the margin call drop simply means the percentage at which the robot keeps buying when the market goes down. So these percentages work when the market is moving down, not when the market is moving up. Then we've got this side, the multiple buying ratio, the amount invested by the times you put according to your first buying amount. Let me repeat. The multiple buying ratio simply means the amount invested according to the times you've put according to your first buying amount. For example, whatever you put on your first buying amount, 10, is going to affect the times you put here. So how can I explain this page? If the market falls down in that particular coin I'm trading by 3.5, let the robot buy 2 times. What is it buying? It is buying what is on my first buying amount, 10 times 2. So 10 times 2, that means it buys 20 margin calls. Sorry, $20. If the market falls again by 4%, let it buy 4 times. What is it buying? 10, that is on first buying amount, times 4, which is 40. Okay. Same applies to here when the market falls again by 4.5, by 5.2. Okay. But the figures you put here, you have to make sure they match with your capital. You cannot put the settings of 1,000 capital and yet you have 200 capital. The robot is going to buy and is going to stop. Let's say that you have 200 and you're using these settings. That means it's going to buy the first buying amount, which is 10, plus the 20 here, 30, plus the 40 here, this is 70. Then it will stop here because it has to buy 80, which is not available. The strategy is just going to stop. So you have to make sure that the settings you put here correspond to your total capital in your spot wallet. Let me hope, guys, we are moving together. Let me hope we are at par. Let me hope we are moving together. Let me hope we are learning something. Let me hope my explanation is not that complicated. Let me hope, guys, we are learning something. If you want me to repeat for you, please don't hesitate. You can ask. Let me hope we are learning something. Okay, I've got all yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. I'm learning real good. Okay. On how to get the margin calls. Margin calls, you can come up with your margin calls. It's all about what is being invested. But according to me, according to how I've been trading, how can you come up with the margin calls? Margin calls, you can come up with your own margin calls, but what I can advise you is set enough margin calls. Don't just set 3 margin calls. No, set enough margin calls. I'm using 200. I've set 15 margin calls because I know the coin I'm dealing with is volatile. Please repeat for me how to buy a coin. I don't get you. How to buy a coin? I don't get you. Make your statement more clear. I don't get you. Because probably what we are doing, we are going to buy a coin. That's what we are doing. So before we buy it, we have to set it. We have to give the instructions to the robot. Okay. Maybe what I'm going to talk about is how to get the margin call drop. If you were here with us yesterday on the Zoom, we looked at that by the support and resistance areas. So we're going to go through so that we connect with our settings. So you can see the price alerts are telling you the coins are really moving low. So make sure you have enough margin calls. If you have few margin calls, open more margin calls, please. But open margin calls that are calculated. If we tell you to open margin calls, don't just go and increase on margin calls. Those margin calls carry money. There has to be money for those margin calls, as you shall be seeing. So let's proceed. Okay, we are trading a Southern Sats. At least you should be with your trading view. If you don't have it, okay, if you haven't learned how to use it, it is very easy. You can say, I want to trade 1,000 sats. Provide me the margin call drop. We are going to provide it to you. Like you see, some leaders provide the margin call drops on the signals in the group, like Prince Vincent, Leader Lawrence, and others. Okay, so this is where they get the margin call drops. So let's look for 1,000 sats. If you're not here yesterday with us, you're seeing stars. But if you're here with us, I think you know what you're dealing with. So this is 1,000 sats. Let's go to 4-hour time frame. So this is 4-hour time frame, and you see this is how I've been monitoring my 1,000 sats. So this is its current price, and you can see I've already put my. So we are going to come up with a margin call drop. This is current price, and you want to trade, and the market is facing down. So you first look at the first. First look at the first support area. Go to the second. Here, if you're afraid of the market, you can reach here. I think this is strong, about 22%. You see, I've always marked it. For me, I always trade 1,000 sats. So you can see previously I've been marking my 1,000 sats. 30% drop from here. I open more margin calls. I don't waste time. This coin is very sweet to trade. The way it moves, if you give it margin calls, you're going to enjoy. So I have come up currently from my current price up to the support area, the major support area. I have come up with 22%. So this is what we fix on the signals. Whenever you see margin call drop, the drop, this is where we get it. It doesn't come from nowhere. So we've got 22%. Okay. So with the 22%, you've got 15 margin calls. So we need the margin call drop. So you get your 22, then you divide it by 15 margin calls to get 1.4. So you get your 1.4 and you put it here. So this is the easiest way, but I'm going to show you another way. But if you don't want to bother yourself, we can use this, the easiest way. So the figures I'm putting here, when I total them up, I come up with 22%. Okay. Now, if I total up the 1.4 times 15, I'll come up with 22%. But you can also use your way. You can put your figures here, your own figures. If it is 2, you put 1, you put 0.5, you put them here. As long as when you total them up, they give you the total margin call drop, which is 22%. That's what we've taken, 22%. Okay. Yeah. Let me hope, guys, we've got that. I'm sorry for those people who were not on the Zoom call yesterday, but you learn with us slowly by slowly on how to get these margin call drops. What happens to the margin calls when the coin is not going down? Margin calls are used when the coin is moving, when the market is moving down. When the market is not moving down and is moving up, that means it is selling your margin calls. If it hasn't bought the margin calls, if you're trading on cycle, it's selling the first 4 margin calls and your first buying amount. Of course, the market will not keep going up. It has to come down. So if you don't set margin calls are like backup. I'm going into the market. What if the market goes against me? How am I going to protect myself on the market? That means I'll have to get some backup. That's the margin calls. How can you set price alerts? These things are very we shall look at that after the session. We have like 20 minutes, then we shall have to. What's the name of that platform? Man, were you here yesterday? Okay, guys, what I can tell you that, guys, don't take these sessions for granted. If you don't attend Zoom, come and ask in the group, I missed Zoom. Is there any recorded session? Because when you ask me, I cannot go back to the first step. But what I've been using is called the Trading View. Go to your Play Store, App Store, App Gallery, and download the Trading View app. Then request for the videos to be guided on how you can get introduced to the Trading View and setting it up. Where you get the percentage call? Didn't you see me going to the Trading View, guys? Let's look closely. That means you not attend my past two sessions, Tuesday and Wednesday evening. We are looking at this. If you missed, request for the videos to understand this. Okay. Yesterday we looked at this. We simply looked at this. So this is where I got my job. Simply looking at how 1,000 sats is moving, looking at the current price, then measuring to the support area, which is this, you can see, which is that. It has been always being supported from here to there, so 22%. Okay, let me hope we've got that. Let's follow closely. Let's not joke. Yeah. So let's proceed. I said getting the margin call drops. Our margin drop, total drop was 22 that we got from the Trading View in 1,000 sats. Okay. Oh, if you've been in the business for quite some time, I want you to look at this. When you see everyone floating, at least these people are floating in between -30 to -60. Most of you are floating in between here. That means the coins we are trading are capable of falling from up to -30, -40, -50, -60. Most of the coin, 90%, they're in between there. That means if you're trading a coin and it's just an altcoin like a mere altcoin like XRP, like Solana, and some like Aave, you can come up with this. But like if we look at the meme coins like Bonk, Pepe, Floki, WIF, they are so volatile. They pump, they dump so much. Okay, so you can go -40, -50 drop. Okay, so according to our measurements on TradingView, we managed to come up with 22% of 1,000 sats. So we divided it by the number of margin calls to come up with this. Then let's go to the multiple buying ratio. The multiple buying ratio, I told you, it is the amount invested in the coin according to the times you put, according to your first buying amount. Okay. Now, we've got $200 and we've exposed 10 as our first buying amount. That means we've remained with 190. Okay. The reason why I use this strategy, or I recommend you to use this strategy, the first 4 margin calls, they are not sub positions. Because when the market falls deep, we see it concentrating on these margin calls from the 5th margin calls up to this. So these are sub positions from the 5th margin calls, margin call up to the last one. Okay. So the first 4 margin calls are sold on 1.3% as we look at it. The first 4 margin calls are sold here. They are sold whole. But nowadays, if you look closely, they can also be sold as sub positions. But on this percentage, if the robot buys the 5th margin call and beyond, and it tends to start selling them out, if it reaches the 4th margin call, it's going to sell it independently also, but at this percentage, the one you put here. If you've been trading actively, you know what I'm talking about. But if you've been just gambling, you'll not know. But at least I have told you this. If you're using margin calls and the robot happens to buy beyond the 5th margin call and start selling, if it reaches the 4th margin call, it's going to sell it independently also. it was updated like a few months back. It is going to sell it independently also. For me, I've been seeing it, even this one as well, even this one as well. But if it has bought the first four margin calls, it hasn't bought the fifth, these ones can be sold whole. They have to be combined at once. Then they are going to be sold at 1.3. Then hope we are good with that. So if I'm using 200, because I know the market falls deep, I've removed 10 as my first buying amount. Then I have remained with 190. That means I'm going to collect some dollars as small as $20. I put it here. Okay. That means I'm going to get $20. I divide it by the first four margin calls to get $5. That means each and every margin call is going to carry $5 on the first, from the first call up to the fourth. Then how do I apply the $5? I divide it by my first buying amount to get 0.5. So the 0.5 is what I put here. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Let me repeat. Let me repeat. Okay. I'm using $200. My first buying amount is 10. That means if it is 10, I have remained with 190. From 190, I'm going to remove only $20. I remain with 170. The $20 I'm going to apply them on the first four calls, because the first four calls are not so important in this game, because the market nowadays falls deep. Okay, maybe if the market moves up and we get to bull market, we shall swift what has been down. We put the most capital on the first four calls. But for now, the market is still down, still falling. So these margin calls are not so important. When the market falls deep, it concentrates on these margin calls from the fifth. That's why I apply some small capital on the first four margin calls. So I had remained with 90. I removed 20. So I have to apply $20 on the four margin calls. So I'm going to get my $20. I divide by 4 to get $5. Then you cannot put $5 here, because it corresponds with your first buying amount. When you put 5, it's going to be 5 times 10, which is 50, and yet we need $5. So how do you get the $5? You divide by your first buying amount, which is 10, to get 0.5. So 0.5 times 10 is $5. Okay. Now, let's look at the remaining margin calls. So we had 15 margin calls we've covered so far, 4 margin calls. So 15 minus 4 margin calls, remaining with 11 margin calls. And we remain with a total amount of 170 as our capital. Then we divide by 11 margin calls. So 11 margin calls simply, it means that each and every margin call is going to be taking $15. Okay. I think some of you are lost. I'm going to repeat. Okay. After applying 20 margin calls on the first 4 calls to get $5, okay, we've remained with 170, and we've remained with 11 margin calls to distribute this capital that is remaining. So I'm going to get my 170 that has remained. I divide with the remaining margin calls, 11. I get 15. So with 15, that means each and every margin call from the from the fifth up to the last is going to carry $15.4. So I'm going to divide it by my first buying amount, which is 10, to get 1.5. So I come and put my 1.5 here. My settings are well explained, and the reason why I put this. So here you're dividing your capital. This is what we call capital distribution, capital management. You manage your capital so well. So when you add up 1.5 times 10, giving you 15 margin calls, sorry, $15. Then $15 times 11, you get 170. Times plus the 20 we've put on the first four margin calls, you get 90, 190. Then plus the 10 on first buying amount to get 200. Our capital distribution is done. Our 200 is well distributed in the margin calls in that way. 200 capital. This strategy, 200 capital, 15 margin calls, and that's how we've divided. Then we click show. Ooh. Guys, are we following? Are we still together? Are we still together? If a trader is trading with 1,000, take 3%, opens 10 margin calls with the first buying amount, buying in, and each margin call 100. The robot goes straight without considering coming down movement, and it gets to take profit without utilizing the remaining margin calls. What would be the profit? You get the profits that you earn the profits that you earn the profits. If it is 3%, it's going to be 3% of what is invested. If you put your first buying amount and has not bought the margin calls, it is going to sell 3% of your first buying amount because it has not added any. Okay? You people, I don't want you to be greedy. Some of you have become so greedy. You see what has happened by decreasing margin calls and pulling all your capital to the upper margin calls, the first margin calls, then the market falls deep. Like right now, the market is falling. If you don't have margin calls, I'm sorry for you. You have to be patient for the market to bounce back. But for us with margin calls, we are jubilating. Whenever we see there's a new buy, there's a new buy, there's a new buy. We keep jubilating. We know what's happening because we know how to use the bot the right way. Okay? I'm giving you the strategy, compare with others and take your favorite strategy and create your favorite strategy. My strategy is not a named strategy that go and this strategy for just, I'm putting the figures, I'm breaking down, I'm explaining why am I putting this, and I'm making you understand the settings of the bot the right way. Okay? The market will always fall. Even if we're in bull run, it is going to fall. And in bull run, whenever it falls so bad and it pumps again. Okay? Don't be fooled that in bull run the market doesn't fall. It falls. And we shall always use the margin calls. It's just that the buying pressure will be very high. It falls 20%, it pumps 50%. Okay? The market will always fall. Like right now, if you've been asking me this question, do you know what's happening on the market? For the past 2 days, it has been pumping. Oh, Bitcoin moving up, everything pumping. Now we're seeing coins moving up. Tabo is moving up. Now you go and look at Tabo. Now the Tabo is facing down. Now it is going to rally down. If you don't have margin calls and you're trading like Tabo now, I'm sorry for you. You have to be patient. Okay? Don't sell at a loss because you're going to lose your money. In crypto, spot trading, we trade assets. They lose value, we remain with the quantity. Okay? Yeah. So thanks for following. Hey, I got lost. Next time we listen again. Now you got lost. You don't you got lost, you don't want to ask. Okay, it's okay. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now we've saved, then we get to this page. Then we have to concentrate here. The distributed and take profit allocation. We simply click there. So when you click there, I told you from the fifth margin call up to the last, they're called sub positions and they're sold independently. Well, we all know that 1,000 sats is volatile enough to produce 1.5 every time it falls, and every time it falls and it rises. So for me, I use 1.5 because I know 1,000 sats has that great volatility to produce 1.5 every time it pumps or it moves up. So each and every sub position is going to be sold at 1.5 from the fifth margin call up to the last margin call. Remember here we've invested 15, 15, 15, 15 USDTs. If you were to remember what we did in the margin call, okay? Then after doing this, you click show. Then after clicking show, you come and look at the sub position take profit callback. Since these sub positions are independent, they have got their own callback, the increment, the increase of the percentage, not this one here. This one belongs to this, and this one belongs to distributed and take profit allocation. Now that you know the meaning of this, it's up to you to fix it there or not to put it there. For me, I leave it at 0. Why? I need these sub positions, the sub position take profit, the distributed and take profit allocation. I need them to be sold at exactly 1.5 without any increase. Okay. Yeah. Now, here we go. The most important thing is the strategy period. There are people who tell you, don't trade on cycle. Cycle is very dangerous. But ask yourself, do you think these people who designed Royal Q, were they stupid to put cycle? They were not stupid. What do I tell you? You have to know when to use cycle and when not to, and how to use it. With our strategy, I would recommend you to first put it on cycle. Why? Because if the market moves up slightly by 1.5 and it is on one shot, it is going to sell 1.5 and you're going to be pushed out of the market. The strategy will be no more. It will be pushed out of the market at this percentage at only $10. But if it is on cycle, it is going to sell it at 1.3%. Then it is going to maintain the coin on the market. Then the coin probability is going to fall and is going to buy some margin calls. So for me, I trade on cycle, and I've explained how to use cycle and when not to. So if you're worried, if this coin buys at least 50% to 80% of your margin calls, you can come and change it from cycle to one shot and leave it there. By the time it moves up, it will have sold these sub positions. You'll have made big percentages in the sub positions. Then by the time this coin moves out, you'll have made a lot of money in the sub positions. That's how you use cycle. Okay. So if you're trading this, I have to first tell you that you first leave it on cycle. You leave it on cycle. Then after doing that, save your strategy. So in this manner, your strategy is saved. So how do you use your strategy? You go to your home page, select the coin you're going to choose, 1,000 sats, you're going to trade. Proceed to the settings. Then when you proceed to the trade setting, don't waste time coming up with the setup, blah, blah, blah. You have to just click on choose a strategy setting. When you click on choose a strategy setting, you'll be given your strategy that you saved, that we've been setting. It has been saved. All you have to do is click on it. Tap. All the settings will come in. The way we've set, everything will come in. The way we've set. All you have to concentrate on is this. You first see the strategy mode. It should be on real-time settlement. The sub-in mode real-time settlement enables the bot to keep buying and selling as it is giving you the profits every time it sells in the sub positions. The sub-in mode retains the percentages, the profits. It sells, but it doesn't give you the profits immediately, not until all positions are closed. And the fuel will be cut at once. The whole warehouse mode simply means that even if you set 100 margin calls, but you leave it on whole warehouse mode, it is going to be sold at once. So I don't recommend you to use that. So I recommend you to use sub-in mode real-time settlement. Every time it buys, let it sell, let it gives you profits immediately after selling. So we select sub-in mode real-time settlement. So after selecting sub-in mode real-time settlement, everything is here. So we've got this to prevent buy if delisting is imminent. This button, you put it on. If you're trading a coin that is going to be delisted, it won't start. So you can put it on. But any coin that you're going to trade, if it is going to be delisted, they will write there to be delisted. So you don't have to trade it. So we have advanced settings here down where we find, do we have them here? Okay. Advanced settings where we find the RSIs. You want to trade with the RSI. Where is it? I don't normally use it. Okay. So this, so for us, for me, I prefer trading by trigger price, what we've said by trigger price. So if you want to use the RSI, KDJ, and the market, for me, I don't use this. It's just like a complement because I believe the RSI, it just manipulates what's happening on the market. So if I'm doing exactly what's happening on the market, then it's okay. So if you're choosing the RSI, you have to put there the settings. If you know how to use it, you choose the time frame like I showed you when we are starting. The time frame, if it is 4, you put here. Then the RSI length, the signal value, if you want it to be in the oversold or overbought, we shall learn about this. I don't want to confuse you with this strategy, but for now you can retain the trigger price. Because for me, I use the trigger price. I don't use this RSI and the what because they are also options. As you can see, they are options. So after doing that, you save your strategy. Then you make sure the switch on margin call is on and the AI margin call is off. Then you click activate. Then you click create. Then your strategy will be up and running. As simple as that. Then you'll have to go and do your own work as the bot will be doing its job. Let me hope we've learned that. That explanation to my question is very educative and satisfactory. I never understood the margin call thing until now. Yeah. Some people teach you like they don't have time. I don't want to blame them, but they don't break down the easiest explanation of these settings. But for me, I want you to create your own strategy so that you become a boss yourself in setting your bot. That's why I explain to you, I break down each and every setting so that you understand it and you do it your way. Okay. Why should AI margin call be off? Man, have you just joined? Let me hope you've been here. I think you've been asking questions here. I don't. You've been asking questions. I've explained why the margin call, AI margin calls is supposed to be. Who remembers my explanation? Who can volunteer and explain to this man why the AI margin call? You can unmute your microphone and explain. Who can volunteer? I need more light on psycho. I've explained that. Okay, I'm going to repeat in a few minutes, then we end the call. Who can explain for us why the AI margin call is supposed to be off? For those who have been following, guys, we have to interact, okay? Let's interact. Why I select randomly for someone to come and explain us, okay? Let me select Chris Vincent. Are you there? One of the top leaders who can try to give you more light on why the AI margin call should be off. Chris Vincent, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, you can give us more light why the AI margin call should be off.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your today's class, and thanks so much for those who have attended. But in a brief, to explain why the AI should be off, though it is a wide topic, but briefly, it should be off. You can only switch it on when the market is going high or in overpumping market, because once it overpumps, we expect the market to overdip. So when the AI is on during that pumping market, and now it changes direction to move down, AI helps you to buy the exact margin call when the market has reached at that exact support line. It's when it can buy. But if the market is not over dipping, you switch it off, because the robot can only buy when the market has not yet even reached at that support line. It's not easy to understand it unless you have been attending classes for trading view to know what is the support and what is the resistance. So during the time when the market is over dipping, it's when you can switch on AI. But when it's not over dipping, no need to switch on AI. That's the brief way I can explain it.
Okay, thank you, Leader Chris Vincent, for more light about the AI margin call. You've explained it so well. Yeah, as he said that the AI margin call works well when the market is dumping, like it is rapidly falling. So the robot detects that rapid movement, then it buys. So if it is not rapidly falling, you can switch it off, make sure it is off. So he has given us more light. Thank you, Mr. Chris Vincent, for more explanation about that. Let's look at some other questions. Um, I was distracted. Now I got okay to allow the bot by margin calls easily. Okay, some good explanation, but as we've explained, I think now you know why we switch off the AI margin call in most time. About multiple buy in ratio in the next session of the robotic settings. Yeah, it is not the last. It is not the last session. We shall have more sessions with me, with Chris Vincent, with Lawrence. So you can look at how we set our bots. Then you can choose for yourself what you prefer. Okay, you can combine all the strategies, then you come up with your own setup. It is very good to come up with your own setup that you understand you're going to make money with Royal Q. Um, let me explain more about cycle. I said cycle. Cycle means a repeated trade, like it doesn't move out. It keeps on cycling, like it is in cycle. If you're trading a coin, it will not move out. So some of you think that making money with Royal Q, this coin has to move out. No, No, if you've set your margin calls, you can enjoy the dips by sub positions even for quite some months. I have coins that I've traded for over 6 months. They are there. They don't move out. I'm trading them on cycle and I have got many margin calls. So they keep being sold and bought without me doing nothing. I do totally nothing. I just set up and leave it. It keeps selling and buying. My job is to add fuel. Okay. So when you're using margin, unless if you're using one shot and you own whole warehouse and it moves up, that it moves out, that means it is one shot. One shot is a one-time trade. You trade it, then it by the time if it moves out, if it hits your take profit, it moves out. That means it is a one shot. It moves out, but cycle it keeps in. So you have to know when and how to use cycle, as I explained. You use cycle so that you can maintain that coin. It doesn't move because according to your strategy, it is a long-term strategy. You want your margin calls to be bought, that you have to first put it on cycle. Then afterwards, if it buys some margin calls 50% to 80% of your margin calls, you put it on one shot. Then you leave the robot to do its work. Leader, tell them cycle is for that people who don't have pressure for money. No, let me tell you, if you're trading, if you want to be a crypto trader, don't have pressure for money. You're going to be affected. Something that comes so quickly, it goes so quickly. Okay. Understand the basics and respect the trading principles. Patience, capital management, risk management, capital distribution, discipline. You have to respect all that, even if you're using royalty as your robot. Okay. You have to respect that. The moment you don't do that, you're going to be affected so much on the market. You'll always float without making money. You'll go too deep, you're going to make mistakes, choose wrong coins and all that. You distribute your capital in a wrong way and you end up ruining everything and you're going to get fed up of the business, I tell you. You have to respect the trading principles. You have to be patient. You have to manage your risks. You have to manage your capital. You have to stay disciplined on the market. Okay. So cycle is good in most cases when you're using like good capital. And again, if you have many margin calls, if you want to maintain that coin, I've seen that 1,000 sats has been doing good. I want to maintain it and it's on an upward trend. Let it move up as it will move up because every day the market moves up and down. So it has to move down anyway and it has to buy the margin calls. So with the current market, it is very easy for the market to move down because the market is so much manipulated. After 1,000 sats, which other coins is very volatile? There are many coins. Look at the meme coins: Bomb, Bonk, Wave, Floki, Pepe, all those coins. And these altcoins, the FTT, the Acros, the what, they are all volatile. Most coins are volatile. Apart from the Ethereum BNB, Ethereum BNB BTC, most coins are volatile. But there are those that are very volatile extremely. The meme coins, the shit coins, and some other altcoins on the coin market cap that are so much manipulated by the whales and the community. Patience, guys. If you're not patient in crypto, you're going to make mistakes. Some of you have been selling at a loss. The immediate you sell at a loss, the coin pumps. You've lost. You're taking like 4%, it reaches 1%, you panic and take out that. Immediately you sell out, it reaches your 4%. Then you start regretting. You have to be learn how to be patient. Everything takes patience. Okay. How much capital can trade on cycle? You have to know how to use this cycle. You have to know how to use this cycle. If you're very busy, you can say like 500, 1,000. You can trade cycle, but one coin. Don't set many coins. Don't set many coins. The trick is compounding and multiple buying ratio. That's the trick. We shall look at that in the next session. Okay. How to compound how to increase your multiple buying ratio. Instead of opening more coins, just increase your multiple buying ratio and increase the margin calls. Thanks for the lecture. Personally, I was recruited into the Royal Queue without any training, so I got much problems. Yeah, we also got problems when we are starting. Yeah, because people who recruited us, like, I don't want to blame them, but they were like us, like we entered at the same point, so they hadn't learned. So we got much problems. We sold at losses, we made losses, but we learned from those processes. But now for you, you're lucky, you've got the guidance. We give you free sessions, but you even don't want to come to Zoom. You don't want to learn. So when things turn against you, you blame your upline or your men, and yet you've done everything yourself. You've refused to listen, to respect trading principles, and you end up making mistakes. Now you get angry at me. Do I control the market? Someone comes in inbox and says, why is my coin not selling? I don't move the coin. Okay, I'm just like you. I've learned to take advantage of the market, how to behave on the market, how to stay disciplined on the market. Just learn like the way I've done. You'll see things moving your way. Don't panic. Be patient. Learn and have skills. You're going to enjoy the business. Okay. I've watched a video raising alert that we should sell our USDT in Binance because it should be listed for something. Did you see it? Do you know anything about it? It is on the platform. Yes, I've seen it like 2 weeks back. But this is propaganda. Okay. If something USDT is very big, it is one of those. Let's go to coin market cap. For those who are tired, please you can leave the Zoom. You're free to go. We've come to an end of our robotic settings. I'm attending to questions. You see, it is possible. You see, USDT on CoinMarketCap, it is holding $119 billion. You see, this is the USDT we are using. So it is the third on CoinMarketCap. So how can you tell me that is propaganda? Okay, they may want to replace it with something I had like USDC, something of that kind, but it is still propaganda. If it was official, we would have seen it on top apps, on top crypto exchange apps like Binance and other CoinMarketCap itself and other. But we are seeing them on TikTok, on YouTube. So this is propaganda. Okay. Sometimes they want to shake you out of the market. You sell off your assets, you withdraw so that you get manipulated. But I don't want to say that it's impossible, but we are all waiting. If it becomes official, then there will be solutions. There will be solutions like the way they swapped Matic to Polygon. Okay, they rebranded it, so there will be solutions. So don't be shaken, and because it is still propaganda being seen on TikTok and other platforms, social media platforms. So this is the USDT we are talking about. Let's look at the news of the USDT community. The community is so big. You see what they are talking? They say USDT has surpassed 330 million on-chain wallets with 36.25 million users. Now, how will you tell me it is creating new users and you're telling me that is going to be removed? Yes, it is possible it can be removed, but we are talking about a big project that is holding most of the cryptos. Okay. So they say stability and freedom is in chaos. The story of USDT is live. Discover how USDT empowers millions globally, providing stability amidst inflation and economic turmoil. So you can see all the news we haven't seen on these official apps. You haven't seen any negative, but still propaganda, Yeah. So don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed. We do appreciate you so much. You have really put in out. We are just starting and we are going to go deeper and deeper with different leaders. We shall be taking you through. If margin calls are bought while the coincidence is coming down, when would it sell? It sells when the market moves up. Come on. What goes down comes up. If the market drops down, later on it will move up, because if it drops down, it gives people opportunity to buy. And whenever they overbuy that currency, it pumps, it moves up. It is demand and supply. Floating loss is finishing me completely for almost 3 months. I understand, Mr. Jesse, but you have to know how to handle the floating loss. The floating loss is not a problem. Some of us have made money in trading, but we've never seen floating profit, or like the coin going in green. You have to take advantage of the floating loss. If you're floating, try to find out why are you floating while you're not making money. You should be floating as you're making money. Floating as you're making money in the deeper market. You're floating as you're making money. Is it at the TP point? What do you mean? Guys, we are turning to questions. Like, if you feel like you're tired, you can leave the Zoom. Any other questions before I close the session? Let's close the session. Any other questions? Or if we have anyone to put upon remarks, compliments, you can unmute your microphone and talk to us. Yeah. Thanks for attending, guys. It's been massive. Yeah, it has been massive. So if there is anyone who wants to put something across, you can unmute your microphone and talk to us.
Thank you very much. My name is Martin. I just have one request from especially the leaders. Everyone who calls himself a leader, it means you've been in crypto for quite some time. So usually the new traders come into the market with a lot of ignorance about cryptocurrency. So please do not guide them according to the different pressures they have and the ignorance they have. Guide them basing on the knowledge you've gained from the market and the truth. Because if you guide them according to what they think, they will definitely fall into problems. And that is where I found myself at. Actually, currently I haven't come out of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martine. Allow, I don't know if that's how they pronounce. Yeah. For the top leaders, for some leaders who have been in crypto for quite some time, they have got the experience. I myself, I'm not so old in crypto since 2022. I've been trading. I've seen waves on the market. I've seen the pumps and the dumps. I've seen how these coins behave. So at least I can say I've got some experience to guide you. I have gone through a lot. I've seen whatever has been happening in crypto space since 2021. Okay. Then in 2022, around July, that's when I started engaging myself fully in crypto space. So I have seen. So whenever I tell you avoid this coin, yes, it is good to trade at the moment, but just keep learning it. Like, okay, keep learning. So respect these leaders, and they have got experience. If they have been here for quite some time, if they tell you something, set margin calls. Don't make yourself wise, because they have seen more than what you've seen. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Martine. Is there anyone with some remarks to put across?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Global Akure.
Oh, thank you very much. In fact, I've benefited so much from this particular trend. For 2 weeks from 1st of October, I was in is it we call it or floating loss for 16 days. And yesterday I just made up my mind that I will be selling at a loss, and I sold at a loss for $18, and I'm not. I don't feel anything bad about it, because that was it's part of learning, though in a very hard way. And like I did it, I didn't set a margin call. I would have said margin call. There are two coins I sold, I bought, and that was I traded SUSI, SUSHI, and NMR, and they have been in a terrible situation since the first day of this month. So eventually I sold it yesterday, but I'm sure just like you explained, if I had a margin calls, I probably would have been selling on that at that time. So the question I asked was that if those margin calls are bought, why the coin is going down? When is it going to be sold? Is it at the point of take profit or within that range to sell? If, for example, I set my margin at take profits at 3%, for example, and these things oscillating between 1% and 2%, buying coming down to zero, coming to negative, and is buying. When is it going to sell? Is it when it gets to get to that take profit, or within that same period?
Okay. Whenever we are trading, like according to the easiest strategy I've been explaining, these margin calls or the ones we said, we call them sub positions. They are margin calls, but we call them sub positions. Sub positions have got what they are called sub positions because they are independent, like the way you've set a coin, but inside a coin, we've got some other coins, sub coins. Okay. Now, that means if they're independent, that means they have got their own average prices. That means if I set margin calls in this way and they have been bought, that means if they're all bought, this one has got its average price, average price, average price, average price, average price. And if I command the bot to sell them at 1.5%, according to what is invested, if the market goes down, this simply means that if it buys all the margin calls, if it starts moving up, it first sells this. If it gets to this average price, it sells that, it sells that, it sells that. If the market stops here and it drops again, it's going to buy them again automatically. If it moves up, it sells them automatically. So you be there playing with them,
Despite the fact that it hasn't got to the TP which I set for the.
No, that one it doesn't matter. If you're setting this and your TP, the whole portion take profit, like 1.3 we looked at, the first one, this one, it doesn't matter, because that's why I showed you that we expose small capital on the first 4 calls and the first buying amount, because if the market moves down, they will not be considered. The market will be moving deeper in these margin calls. That's why we distribute a lot of capital in these margin calls. So even if it doesn't get your average price, the first one, by the time you bought this coin, you'll be making money in the deeper market, because most of your capital is in the sub positions. That's why, like when we're using 200, we removed 10 plus the 20 on the first 4 margin calls and first buying amount. Then the 170, we put it in sub position because it is the most of the capital, and it is in the sub positions where the market will be moving. So it will spend there some time, as it will be going up, down, up, down, up, down. That's why most of you, when you're floating like at negative 30, you see the coin reducing up to negative 15. But if you don't have margin calls, you not make money. But if you have margin calls around here, by the time it gets to negative 15, you've made 15% in the sub position. That's the easiest explanation I can give you, sir.
That is good. So why the thing is floating loss? One is making money.
Because it has lost value, but we take advantage by buying more assets.
By buying more.
Yes, by buying more assets in that particular coin. Okay. Now, being in floating loss is not a problem. Make floating loss your friend. For me, when I don't see floating loss, I don't see money. Because if it is floating loss, it buys, like it has bought cheaper down. Okay. So I don't like seeing my coin going to, if I'm trading with this strategy, I don't like seeing it going to green, because by the time it goes to green, I know it will have sold a lot of what. So if I can show you here, let me try to show you some of Let me try to show you some of these strategies. These people who own circles, what they use. Okay, so for example, if I can get to, okay, this one, kingmakers. Okay, now you see this strategy. Okay, you see this coin. It has made 1,800% in bonk, but it doesn't mean that he made it at once. No, it is by margin calls. These sub positions, every time they are sold down, it keeps accumulating this percentage. So these percentages you see, they are simply made in the sub position. The coin it doesn't have to move out. You make this percentage. No, they are made in the deeper market. When you master this, you'll understand where money is. You see, making all this percentage in the deeper market in the sub position, it is very huge. 700%, 700, 500, 500, 1,800. That's how you're supposed to use the bot the right way.
That's good. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Guys, if you feel like you're tired, we are attending to questions. You can leave the Zoom if you feel like you want to. Anyone with any remark, question, compliment? Anyone else? Let me check in the chat.
Hello, please, leader. Mentor, good morning.
Yes.
I just want to chip in a kind of a little advice to us, more especially those that are new into the business. Guys, if you guys understand this business very well, you will not be bothered about floating loss. I tell you nothing but the truth. If you understand this business, despite that the floating is not is a kind of painful, but if you have extra capital to add, you can just add capital, because if you don't understand the business, it cannot add. You will not be able to add. Like I have some of my downlines, they are trading capital